text her that. Excuse me. Okay, so we lost the director, so she must be logging back on. And then we got Councillor Fody. Hello, Councillor Fody.
How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. There's
And the director of planning is frozen again.
oh,
Otherwise, she's doing a really good pose.
Should we take a still picture?
I can't get a screenshot. It'd be quite.
scare the neighborhood kids on Halloween if you can do that. Hello, Brock.
Hello. How's everybody?
Awesome.
Good.
We kind of need Marnie on this call because it is it's a public meeting.
We'll wing it.
We'll surprise her with what we're going to do.
Yeah. Oh, by the way.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Madam Mayor, can you see the attendees?
And I can go. And I can see that we have one.
We have one.
Brent Collette.
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you. Was that the only registrant?
I think there's one more. Let me check.
And we still don't have Mr. Jameson and Mr. Olkey.
He's coming on now, Mark.
Okay. All right.
We have Mr. Collette and then a Mr. Bill Helmer that's registered as well.
Okay.
Oh, yay. Oh, yay.
Oh, yay. I could say it louder. Corey wouldn't need to have the microphone on. She'd be able to hear it from here. I'll say if you mute it, we might still hear you. You might. You might. Okay.
So we're just waiting on Councillor Olkey and Councillor Garrell.
No, you're waiting for the balcony.
Yes.
Not
He's
Corral.
saying there's nothing there still.
Yeah, I just resent it.
Okay.
Are you talking about Councillor Jameson?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll just
Steve. Oh. There's Mark.
Yep. Are we live yet?
We are.
Yes.
Thanks for the link. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Just like high school, everybody gave me a different night for the dance.
There we go. We've got. I was going to say we can't really do this without you, Marnie. Okay.
I was trying to be all organized and it didn't work.
Too many computers open at once.
Yeah, it was all
Yeah.
deja vu, eh?
Okay, so I've sent a message to Councillor Olkey, but I haven't heard anything back just yet. So maybe he's in the process of joining us. Where's my agenda here? Okay, this is the one. Different. I've got two agendas. I don't want to get them mixed up. So we'll call the meeting to order at 5:32. And the next item on the agenda is declaration of interest and general nature thereof. Does anybody have a conflict that they'd like to declare at this point in time? Seeing none, I will move on to the purpose of this meeting and go to 3.1, which is report number Z 2020-011, which is Delaney Tatlock. Before we go into the discussion on that, I will read the statement, as I always do. Personal information collected at this public hearing is collected under the authority of the Planning Act and will be used to assist in making a decision on this matter. All names, addresses, opinions, and comments are collected and form part of the minutes which are available to the public. Questions regarding this collection should be forwarded to the Director of Planning. The purpose of public meetings is to present planning applications in a public forum as required by the Planning Act. Following presentations by the applicant or staff, council members will be afforded an opportunity to ask questions for clarification or further information. The meeting will then be open to the public for comments and questions. When you speak, please provide your name and address for recording in the minutes. All comments should be directed to myself, the chair of the meeting. The applicant will be provided the opportunity to address public questions once all members of the public have made their submissions. And for applications being presented tonight, a report and recommendation are being presented to council. Following a council decision, notice will be circulated in accordance with the Planning Act. If a person or public body would have an ability to appeal the decision of council to a local planning appeal tribunal, but the person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the township before the bylaw is passed, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision. Okay, now that I've got that out of the way, we can move on to the first item, the 3.1 Delaney Tatlock, North Gig Island, St. Lawrence River. Madam Planner, do you want to give us a synopsis here?
Sure, thank you through your worship. This is an application to amend the zoning for the property at 2 North Gig Island. The property currently contains an existing boathouse that has living space on the second floor. The applicants are proposing to rebuild a one-story boathouse and are requesting a zoning amendment to allow us to increase the area for a sleeping cabin from 30 square meters to 77.6 square meters. This living space will replace the living space that's currently on the second floor of the boathouse. So it's relocating the living space inland. The notice was provided in accordance with the Planning Act. And to date, there have been no inquiries regarding this application. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Madam Planner. Any questions in regards to this application? Nobody's waving me down at this point. Okay, fairly straightforward. Do we have any attendees that are looking to make any comments or ask any questions at this time? If you do, put your hand up. We got nothing. Okay, so we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, 3.2, Z-2020-012, Tedford, Jordan, Bennett, Geomatics, Inc., 929 Newell's Lane. So, Madam Planner, do you want to give us a background on this?
So through your worship, this rezoning is required as a condition of consent approval to satisfy a provisional condition of consent. This application was to sever 0.8 hectares from the property at 929 Newell's Lane to add to 955 Newell's Lane. It's proposed to rezone the property from rural to shoreline residential to avoid split zoning on the property. Notice of the meeting was provided in accordance with the Planning Act, and there have been no inquiries into this application.
Discussion or questions to the planner in regards to this? Councillor Maybe? I need you to unmute yourself, Councillor Maybe.
Sorry, totally forgot about that.
That's all
Thank
right.
you, Madam Mayor. So the reason for the rezoning and the addition to the property is to get rid of the right-of-way and to increase the property for any future development, perhaps?
Madam Planner?
Through your worship, it's not to get rid of the right-of-way. The right-of-way will not be impacted in any way by the amendment. The purpose of the zoning amendment is just to take land from the property that is zoned rural and add it to the property that's zoned shoreline residential for the purposes of making it larger and more functional. The zoning amendment will just make sure that it's all in one zone.
Okay, thank you.
And it will also then correct the zoning, Madam Planner, correct? Like it'll make it shoreline residential versus rural, which is what we would prefer back there anyways, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Any other questions or comments before we take any questions from the people joining us live? No questions from council. Do we have any questions from the people attending the meeting? If you do, can you please put your hand up? You can find the function at the bottom of the page. Usually allows you to ask a question through Q&A. I don't see any hands going up. Okay, so I will move on to number 3.3, Z-2020-013, Casey in Engineering and Surveying, 100 Village Estates Lane. Go ahead, Madam Planner.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair, is it possible to share my screen?
I'll make you the co-host, Marnie, and then you can share your screen.
Okay. Can everybody see the map?
Yeah. Can you make it a bit bigger? Can you enlarge the map at all?
Is that okay?
Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair, the purpose of this application is to satisfy a condition of consent approval. This triangle parcel of land shown as severance is being severed from this property, which is currently zoned shoreline residential, to be added to the adjacent property at parcel A. There's a significant change in topography of the property. So this is at the top of a cliff area, which is only accessible to the adjacent property. So this is not usable property for this lot where the existing dwelling is. The purpose of the amendment is to rezone this property, shown as the retained lands, to recognize that the lot area is less than what's required in the existing shoreline residential zoning. So it's a very technical lot line adjustment, and that's what the zoning is to recognize, that the resulting lot is less than what's required in the zoning bylaw. Notice was circulated in accordance with the Planning Act, and there has been no input into this application.
Okay, can you stop sharing your screen so I can see everybody, please and thank you. Thanks. Okay, so we have a couple of people on the line. So I don't see any questions, or is any of the councillors have any questions in regards to this application? Councillor Maybe?
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you, I do know of this property and how it is actually situated, and with the high hill to the west of parcel A, I do see that be a very viable change to the land because of the topography. So I agree.
Any further questions or inquiries? Go ahead, Councillor Grow.
Thank you. And through you, Your Worship, to the planner, what is the procedure then for parcel A, who is the receiver of the small piece of land? Do they then have to go to county to add that as a severance? Thank you.
Go ahead, Madam Planner.
Through you, Your Worship, that's already happened. So this has already gone to the county, and the county has provisionally approved the severance of that portion for the purpose of adding it to parcel A. So as a condition of that approval, they have a year to satisfy their conditions, one of which is to rezone the retained lands so that everything complies with zoning.
Okay, so Councillor Gorell seems satisfied with that answer. Any further questions or comments before I go to the gallery? Seeing none, we still have 2 attendees at the meeting. And I believe Kimberly Delaney's on here. We've already discussed, gone by Delaney Tatlock. But are there any questions or concerns in regards to, we're at 3.3 on the agenda, 100 Village Estates Lane. That's what we're looking for comments on. Ms. Delaney, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, would you like to speak to 100 Village Estates Lane?
No,
that isn't ours.
Oh, it's not ours. We're Gig Island.
No, we've already gone past North Gig Island, but
okay.
If you let me finish this up, I'll entertain going back to the other one. So if you could just hold on. And I believe, Mr. Collette, do you have any comments to make on 100 Village Estates Lane? Yep, go ahead.
Report in.
There we go.
As already discussed, it's the topography and just the lay of the land and how things are situated in there. It's an expensive process for a little sliver of land, but it's needed.
It's needed.
So.
Okay, thank you for your input. Any further questions in regards to 3.3? Seeing none, I will go back to 3.1. Just there were no questions. This is in regards to Delaney Tatlock to North Gig Island, St. Lawrence River, because you were first on the meeting, so we didn't have any questions or concerns, and there was no other members of the public who voiced any concerns, unless you would like to add something, Ms. Delaney?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Fair enough. I just didn't want to let the opportunity go by if there was something to be added. So any further questions or comments in regards to any of the reports that have come to council tonight? Being none, I will move to have this meeting adjourned. I need a mover and a
Madam Mayor, did you want to speak about the in-camera meeting?
I knew I would forget. Thank you. Before we adjourn this meeting, our regularly scheduled meeting is supposed to start at 7 o'clock. This is for the rest of council. Unfortunately, those plans changed. The reason we were starting later was because we were going to be awarding the new recruits and doing some other fun things, but we've had to postpone them due to the recent rise in COVID infections in the area. So what we have now is we're at 5:45, and technically we're not supposed to start until 7 p.m. If it was the will of council that you would like to start at 6:30 so that we could deal with our in-camera session, we could do that, but we would need an amendment to the agenda coming up. Is that the will of council that you would like to start at 6:30? Yes, so I have a mover, Councillor or Deputy Mayor Lackey, and then Councillor maybe. Okay, any discussion on that? Any concerns? I will reach out to Councillor Olkey and try to reach him before that, but I think we can get a lot done from our in-camera agenda. Councillor Fody?
Thank you, through you, Your Worship.
Is there any reason we couldn't do the in-camera at 6, or are we obligated to stick on a 6:30 timeline? It isn't open to the public anyway.
That's right. Madam Clerk, would it be possible to,
Yes, absolutely. It's possible to start the in-camera whatever the will of council is. I would just caution starting the council meeting any earlier because that's what was advertised.
Right,
But the
no,
in-camera, you can start earlier.
that's what I mean. Sorry.
Councillor Jameson?
Just concerned that we get a hold of Gord. Your worship.
Yeah. So I will endeavor to reach him and give him a call and see if we can get him on the line. Madam Clerk?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to send out another link for the in-camera meeting. So just look for that in your inbox, and that's how you're gonna access the in-camera meeting at whatever time council chooses, whether you choose to just say immediately following the public meeting or whatever time you vote on.
Okay. Do you want to leave it as following the planning meeting, but that the regular meeting will not start before 7 p.m. as advertised? Is that correct, Madam Clerk? That was worded correctly. Okay. So is that the will of council, that we can start the in-camera meeting as soon as we can get a hold of Gord type thing? That works? Okay.
Who was the seconder for that motion? Sorry, Madam Mayor.
Councillor maybe.
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion, please signify. All those opposed, and it's carried. Okay. So with that, I need a mover and a seconder to adjourn the meeting. Who would like to move the adjournment? Councillor Fody. And who would like to second? Deputy Mayor Lackey. That the public meeting adjourn. All those in favor, please signify.